and you correct in love. So this is a template of being a woman. If you have been raised by a mother that is caring, compassionate, intelligent, self-sufficient, resilient, then you turn out to be a woman. A good one.
So this is basically, I love the approach, I love the angle you came from. The first thing you said was, what works for A
does not work for B.
Does not work for B.
Does not work
And
for
then, I mean, you're talking about a woman being comported, being intelligent. And permit me to say, ma, you just displayed your intelligence by having to talk about the foundation of training. So I might get it wrong much later, but if I get the foundation, the girl herself will be able to pick up from that foundation and begin to build herself. Wow, that's I'm learning from my girl child too. I'm learning. So let's digress just a bit. So we have this there's this common saying, it's an old saying, there's this common saying that says it's a man's world. You know, and I want to say thank God for feminism. You know, I want to say thank God for feminism. Some people don't know that feminism is not just for women. There are men who are feminists, right? So as much as we have a few adulteration, but yes, there are men who are feminists. But then we have that common saying that says it's a man's world. And now we're getting a balance of it. But I want to ask you, Ma, that saying didn't just, emanate 2 years ago. It's been there. And so you belong to an older generation. So I want to ask, as royalty, as a leader, as someone people look up to, how has it been for you to be able to, influence people, influence ladies, where, there's some kind of power tussle, sort of. Sometimes not physically, but sometimes subconsciously, How has it been? What's been the experience for you being in a place where a man probably feels threatened, but then you're a leader. You have ladies who look up to you, they want to hear you speak. How has it been for you,
man? I'm of the older generation. But I'm very current.
I can see.
I am not a feminist once. I am not of the school of thought that, equality, there has to be. But I base my argument on the Bible. When you go into marriage, it says you will leave your father, your mother, both sides, and you cleave and become one. Once both of them truly believes that they are one, whether the success of the lady or the man, it should not be a threat. Because if you are her husband and it happens that she has an upper hand, as long as she's not disrespecting you, she's not rubbing it in your face, whatever she owns, you own. There is no basis for competition. Whatever she owns, you own. And whatever you own, she owns. God has made it in such a way that you find some women more successful than their husbands.
Very true.
The only time, majority of women, the only time the husband begins to go astray, that is when there will be trouble. And what do I mean by going astray? You know you are not that very, you are not very buoyant. And she's not complaining. But in that process, you go and you begin to misbehave. You know what I mean by misbehavior.
Yes,
You begin to misbehave. Some women will stomach it. It depends on the individual.
yes,
Some won't. Some would warn. Some would call your attention to it. But if you become a perpetual person who finds it very easy to misbehave, of course the woman will become, it is then you say, the man will now say, she's arrogant because she's. There are situations where the woman is the one who had worked, will build, will put both names, would buy a car, would even buy her husband a car and put his name.
and not broadcast it.
And not say it. And not say it to anyone. And it will be glaring. Everyone will be saying it that it's the woman that is carrying this family. But if you find out that that woman begins to react, then that person, majority, you will find out that there's something wrong. Although there are a few cases of women who their successes get into their head and they just become uncontrollable. Uncontrollable. And they want to. But it's because they are just married. They haven't accepted that God's theory of oneness.
Interesting. Now, Mom, this leads me to something, a follow-up question now. So we have this, what's the word now? There's this entitlement mentality for ladies, where I'm sure you can relate to this, where we hear statements like, the man's money is everybody's money, my money is my money. And, growing up, my mom, it was as we got older, we found out a few things. Mom, sometimes my dad doesn't have money, and then mom would slip in and, just to keep his ego, and then he does the pain or whatever it is. But it's a totally different ball game now for most people. So it's more like the man should slave, and yes, I believe a man is a leader, should be a leader, should influence. However, like you said, it's two people living. So, but I'm not even talking about union. I'm just saying, can you address the thing about the entitlement of ladies when it comes to, why is a lady's money her money? Why can't you say, okay, my money is my money, your money is your money? Why is it, and this is not even about gender for me. I'm not asking this question because I'm asking it because, if we're going to go far, then we should go all the way, So why is the man's money everyone's money? And then my money is my money. That entitlement that makes me feel that I shouldn't work as a woman, the man should do all the working, I should do the spending. Now, I'm not saying every woman. Yes, there are. So it's something that's being propagated and a lot of people are embracing it. What would you say about that now?
That topic is volatile. It's very, very volatile for someone like me, who is of the old brigade, to come into. Like you said, a wife is the helpmate. And I think most people will say, oh, when they will say, oh, the Bible says that a man that cannot provide for his household is worse than an infidel. If the man is capable, he will do it. If he's capable, he will. In fact, he will even ask you, don't work, I'll place you on a salary. There are some men like that. There are some who are akagom, who would not want to and feel that, oh, my wife earns more than I do, so let her. It is not done. There are men that you can see that, oh, his income is not enough to run the house. The lady, if she's working, should help. Should help him. And you know, for ladies, and most times men always would take it for granted and just say, she's doing. No. If you know how to live with your spouse, I always say, if you know how to treat a woman, you will eat from inside her palm. If you know how to treat a man, you will know how to eat from. He will be eating from your palm. So, if you see that your wife is trying and helping you, oh, darling, thank you very much for helping me. Don't take it that, oh, you are doing, after all, we are in this together.
Are you not my wife?
Are you not my wife? Women don't like such talk. Like I always say, men are wired differently, women are wired differently. And you find some women who their husband will do everything and they will be all over him. Oh, God bless you. And they would pamper him. You will find some that they will do all and she will still be complaining. You know, different individuals. So this topic of saying my money is my money, your money is your money.
It's our money.
Your money is
our money. Is our money. I
your
eat
money
from it, but mine you can't eat from mine.
No, I don't think where love exists perfectly, it should be like that.
Mama.
Where there's perfect love, honestly, where there's perfect love.
Mama, you're poking something, ma.
What am I poking?
You're poking something because that is like on a scale of 1 to 10, like 6%. I'm not saying like 6%. That's what's happening. So are you saying? I'm not the one who said it, but are you saying we don't have love in this house? Because that's
no. I
mean,
mean,
almost looking like.
I mean, if the couple, if there's an understanding. If there's an understanding between the couple. I know people who know how much their wife earns. But you see, because of some bitter experience, some people react like that because of some bitter experiences some people have shared to them.
I was going to ask what is even responsible for that.
It's because you have known somebody who has gotten her hands burnt in that process. So you say, no, I am not going to go that way. Yes. You find out that, you know, we learn with people's experiences. As we're talking, there's still, you can't say everyone is like that.
True. Very true.
There's a small percentage of women who are not like that. But, you know, it must have been an experience that had built that person to say, no, my money is my money. Your money is our money. But even in that, even your money is your money, my money is my money, your money is our money. If that woman is the mother, her money still goes in. No matter how she says, my money is my money, our money is our, except she's not in the home. Her money will still go into it. The only thing is that maybe she can be putting away some money that the husband is not aware of. Oh, I have this money. I have this hidden money somewhere. And it all boils down to the relationship you have with your spouse. Trust. If you cannot trust him, you don't tell him. You know these, don't tell him everything, kind of. And it's because of the world we're living in now. The world is a global village. You know, in those days, you don't hear what happens to this one or what happened to that one. But now, before it happens, it's on social media. It's on social media. So everybody keeps borrowing, borrowing from it. Oh, no, I won't do this. No, I won't fall. No, somebody sent money. She went abroad and was sending money for her husband to build a house. He bought a land, bought it in his own name, and built the house, converted it. By the time she came back and said he was already planning to take another wife, and then she came and he said it's his house. When people read such stories, if there's anyone abroad working, if there's any lady abroad doing it, she would go and begin to ask, the paper of the house, whose name is there? So that is how one person's downfall sends ripple signals to people. And so that is why we have that problem now. In those days where there was no media, you find out that they say they built the house together. My money is inside the house. When my husband was building, I asked him not to give me upkeep again. I'll be the one to be feeding the house. These are the things that happen. Even when they cannot, they can't support, they can't bring chunk money for the building. They will say, oh, don't bother I will be feeding the house. That was how it was going.
Sounds like love.
So,
and we're grateful for gifts like you who are still here and are able to say this thing. I mean, the same social media that has so much negativity out there, we have people who can talk, and the younger ones will be able to learn and listen. Suma, so far I'm learning. I'm taking mental notes, making mental notes. So before I let you go, I have about 2 more questions. And before I let you go, there's this thing about, I read a few stories on social media where people do the wrong thing, but it's excused because of a poor background. And as much as I want to empathize with such people, I ask myself, like they said, there's no excuse for the law. If I kill a person, no matter how I want to explain that, that person, the victim, slapped my girlfriend. I mean, it was a slap he gave, and then I stabbed him. So is the court going to say, oh, we understand you were upset, so don't go to prison? There's a law that says if you kill, probably be killed or you'll be imprisoned. So yes, there's this poverty in the land. However, you talked about foundations, grooming a child from the foundation. So now my question is this: how do we help? And another thing about help is you can't help a person who doesn't want help. But maybe we could play our own part. So how do you help a girl who is coming from a poor background and for whatever reason, pressure, decides to make money by sleeping around. And now it's a norm for her. It can be defended anywhere. How do you think, first of all, do you think it's something that can be salvaged? Do you think it can be salvaged? Because just before, there's this other thing, there's this other angle that we endorse, especially in Nigeria, where we say, if somebody is wrong, but he has money, you have no rights to question the person. Yes. Maybe your generation don't say that, but this generation, there's a thing, and it's really sad, where you are wrong, outrightly wrong, and you're arrogant about it. But they say, oh, you get money, and so you're untouchable. There's that, and then there's the thing of my body, my life. And then we don't think about the fact that we have daughters that we are, grooming.
We're grooming.
So how do we balance it? How do we help? How do we salvage? Because if I'm a lady and then I'm sleeping around and my excuse is because I came from a poor background, how will my children listen to me? And when I make also the excuse of I'm an adult, that's another card we use. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing. How do we help? Do you even think it can be salvaged?
First of all, I am from a poor background, or poor home is not an excuse. I don't consider it as an excuse at all. When we were growing up, the people who are just average, the poor people's kids are the well-behaved ones, because you look at those kids up there and you want to say, tomorrow I want to be like this. I was born in the barracks. My father was a policeman. And you would have aspiration of what you want to be tomorrow. It's because we don't have any, most of these people don't have that aspiration. All they want to do is the quick and easy way to make money. Nobody wants to go through or tell a story. Oh, this is how I did before I landed here. They just want to land. And land well.
And land well. Wow.
And land well. Being poor is not an excuse for a wayward life. No. There are a lot of things you can do. That's why I keep saying, catch them young. I saw on the net there's this little girl who sews. I don't think she's 10 years old yet. I see her on Facebook. She cuts and she speaks perfect English. That girl, when she goes to school and does very well with her studies, that's a little Vicky James. Vicky J. In the making. Her parents might not be rich. If we say, oh, we cannot afford school, what about skills? What about skills?
They're both SS. Skills, cool.
School. What about skills? What has happened to skills? The world has moved away from the white collar job. It's good to go to school, yes. It's good to be very, very learned. Because if you're a mechanic and you've gone to school, the way you will do your workshop is different from the person who didn't go to school. whatever you're doing, it will be very different because of that school thing in you. It will be different. But if you don't have an opportunity to go to school, what about you getting a skill? What about you learning? We have so many things that you can do. We have so many skills, so many things that you can do to begin to hustle. To begin to hustle and make money. Not by sleeping around. It might fetch you good money, but you see this body. Let one thing be wrong. Once one thing is wrong, the whole will collapse. And as women, it's the way you use your body that you meet it in your old age. You will meet it in your old age. If you overuse it, it will be waiting for you. So it's not about, we need to go back. A lot of parents have failed. We have failed parenting. Failed parenting. We have left our duties as parents to train these children in the way they ought to go. When somebody who is poor will say, the daughter should go and sell her body and bring the money for you to eat. What are you eating? You are eating your tomorrow. Because with all the vices we have around now, it's either you get killed for ritual, you get into a fight and you get killed, nobody. You know, you can, as they go out every day, it's a risk. Even when you're a normal human being and you go out, you're going out in a day, is a risk. Because you don't know whether you're going to come back. So then for you to now begin to go with strange people that you don't know, it is not something I subscribe to. If you are poor, you can't go to school. Learn a skill. And you can be working and still be going to school. That's why we have some adult education center. And then with open university system now, you can still go to school. You can be working and still go to school. And if you think, oh, school is not my thing, then get a skill. Get a skill. Get a skill. Be good at your skill. Even if you're inside the hole, they will look for you. Even if it's this ordinary akara, you know how to fry. Fry your own with a twist. Fry your own with a twist. You will. There's nothing that you find as a skill that you do that you will not find somebody to patronize you. But with sleeping around, the gains are the monetary ones you get immediately. But if you are not that lucky, you end up with something that will destroy you for the rest of your life. So it's the parenting. Parents need to wake up. Parents need to wake up. You need to tutor and teach these children that there is dignity in hard labor. There's dignity in hard labor. If, as I am now, I have a child and he gifts me anything that I know that he cannot afford, I will question you. I will query you. I will not accept it. You might say, oh, because you have. That's why. No. For people who know me very well, I'm a stickler of very strict upbringing. If it's love, my heart is filled with love. But when it comes to doing things right, you need to do it right. And it's because now we have thrown away the word right. Wrong has become right. Like you said if somebody has done wrong and you say because the person has money, he will get away with it. Maybe it happens in this part of the world, in the advanced world. Even if you are the richest person, if you get caught, you will do the time. You will do the time.
Even if it takes 30 years later.
Even if it takes, no matter how it, even if you are dead and they discover it, they will almost exhume your body to punish. It's because our system. It has to do with our system. It has to do with our orientation. I can get away with anything because I am loaded. Anything that is wrong, there is no amount of painting, panel beating that you can do to it. Wrong is wrong. And what is right is right. Although now, there's no, everything goes over.
The gray areas.
Anything goes. But there are still, I give kudos to those parents who are still very good parents and who still have control over, not control as in controlling their children, who had raised their children and they are still working in that part.
This is a lot. This is a lot. So, Mark, you're going to talk. You know, I feel so honored. I feel like there's no one watching as much as there are people watching. I feel like you're speaking to me as a person, right? So, before I let you go, you're going to have to talk to the public and just speak as a mother, as a grandmother to the public, to those who are watching. But just before I get there, I have one more question. Sorry, I've kept you so long. I mean, we don't always get to find you. So now that you're here, we should glean all the wisdom that we can. So I just have one question before you speak to the public and then say a word also to R4M Studios. I'm trying not to be emotional. So this, you talked about parenting. At some point in my life, I had to try to balance parenting and being a husband because I felt like, okay, let me not say that, but parenting is big. I'm big on parenting, and to the point of having a picture where I see myself on America's Time magazine, all in white taxi driver cap, white Lacoste shirts, and all that. My daughter here, my son there, and it sounds good on paper, but that's work. There's work behind the scenes.
There's a lot of work behind
So it's not just the social media thing. So parenting is big, is a major thing. And now, this leads me to the last question. We're talking about defining an independent woman. How does an independent woman, I mean, sadly, now from scriptures, which you subscribe to, which I subscribe to, it is about two people leaving their backgrounds to become one. And in becoming one, you're building a new generation. So how does, in the society we live in, sadly, we're not proud of it. Sadly, sometimes there are things some men can get away with, but the woman will be pointed. So how does an independent woman not mix up her career with parenting? Because we've seen cases where there's no direction, hoping mom is there for me, dad is there for me, and they're not there. And then, guys, you know what? this is my life, I'm going to take it, I'm going to make my mistakes and find myself somewhere in the future. How does an independent, because when we hear the word independent woman, we feel it means I'm an adult, which you are. It means I can do whatever. But then, I'm growing a child. So, how do I balance it as a woman? Being an independent career woman. And when I say career, even to being a housewife who is committed, which is a big time job also. How do you balance it with parents? How do you balance your personal goals, your personal pursuits with the fact that you have children who you have to groom?
For